Hello and welcome in episode 3 of the Sports Dadcast. Brandon Curtis is here. Brandon, I'm so happy to have you with me, man. Thank you very much for doing this.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm
Yeah,
excited as well.
when I started this and I had the idea of kind of doing a podcast about sports, I knew I was going to do some, I knew I was going to do some NBA talk, and I knew that you were one of the biggest basketball fans that is out there. So I knew I was going to want to have you on. I know you talk it, you watch it, you coach it, you love the game. So I'm really happy to have you here. We're going to talk some NBA tonight.
Yeah, I basketball's been my passion since third, fourth, fifth grade. I everything about it is just my favorite. So I love being able to talk it and teach it and coach it and do all that stuff. And I love just sitting down and on weekends and watching it as well. So
Yeah, awesome. Well, hey, let's get right into it. We're going to do a lot of NBA talk tonight, so I'm really excited to have you here with me. So we're going to start out. I want to talk about the top teams in the NBA. We'll go conference by conference. The NBA is right around its quarter mark of the season. Each team, I think, is right around between 20 and 25 games. So we're about a quarter of the way through. So I want to touch on the top teams, and then we'll move to some teams at the bottom of the standings so far. So sitting at the top of the Eastern Conference right now in order: Celtics, Bucks, Cavs, Hawks, Pacers, Nets. And the Western Conference in order: Suns, Nugs, the Pelicans, the Grizzlies, the Clippers, and the Jazz. What do you think out of those top teams in each conference? Who's been the surprise? If you had to pick one out, who would you say probably doesn't finish in that top six?
probably the top six in the East. It's probably got to be the Pacers.
Yeah,
They're young, they're fun to watch,
yeah,
but the NBA is a long season and there's going to be injuries. So I know tonight Tyrese isn't even playing. So
yeah,
he's been their guy to get him moving. So Miles Turner looks, I don't know, I guess engaged for once for the first
yeah.
time in a while. So I don't know. They look good right now. Look fun to watch, but there's so many teams that I think are just at that point where they're trying to figure it out that they'll get bumped to at least the bubble or the
Yeah.
if not make it at all. So
Yeah, I think picking up Halliburton was a huge move for them, and then drafting Mathurin too. Benedict Mathurin has been a real big surprise. I'm really happy with the way he's playing.
right, I had him on my fantasy team to start the year, and he was a monster to start. Now he's kind of cooled off, but it's just because he
Yeah,
doesn't do a lot besides score and play D.
yeah,
So as soon as he figures out that playmaking aspect, I think he'll be a little better.
yeah. I'm with you.
Doesn't need to with Tyrese, so it's kind
Right.
of nice.
Yeah,
I think
he's
Tyrese is leading the league in assists at a 10.9. I think I wrote down. So
it's incredible. Absolutely
yeah,
incredible out of a guy that's what, 23,
yeah.
maybe. I don't even think he's maybe that old.
I think he's 21, 22.
Yeah,
So
so really impressive. And I think the Kings are kind of kicking themselves for letting him go.
I think so too. But the funny part is when we get into the show a little bit more, I wrote a lot about on the Kings for some odd reason. So I'm
Okay.
excited about them.
Okay. So let's flip it over to the Western Conference. Who is it that
Um,
you don't think is going to end up in that top six?
it's got to be the Jazz
Yeah.
or gosh, the Pelicans have really looked interesting, but if they can stay healthy, I think they stay around that six mark.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're a bubble as well. But I would say the Jazz. I think the Jazz, it actually, from looking at it right now, like the current update from the moment that you sent the notes, they actually have slipped from the sixth. So it's already
Okay.
looking. Mike Conley has missed 8 of their last 10 games, from what I've saw from an article.
Hmm.
So he's kind of their leader, and when you lose your point guard and your guy to keep you calm, that
Hmm.
does a lot. So I think it's the Jazz. I think the Jazz fall out of that top six pretty easily compared to if the Clippers can get healthy.
Yeah.
Obviously they have Kawhi and Paul George.
Yeah.
Grizzlies, Jaws hurt right now, so obviously they've been banged up. I think Jaws out a little bit here and there, and then Bane is out for the next 3 weeks or so. So that's
Yeah.
tough. Losing a
Yeah.
little bit.
The Grizzlies are gonna. I think they're gonna hurt without Bane. The shooting that he brings to that team is really vital for them, especially because John doesn't really shoot it all that well yet. I think his shot
Yeah.
will improve, but losing Bane on the perimeter is going to be
Yes.
hard for them.
Bane, yeah, so it's kind of weird. Like early on in the season, it was him and Bane going with it, and then Brooks was out, and
Hmm.
now Brooks is back, Bane's out, so and now Ja's in and out.
Yeah.
it's going to be tough for them to they'll mutter around the line, but I still think they're going to be an absolute tough team to get out in the
Yeah.
playoffs.
Ja, I think just puts that team at a different level. He's such an incredible player.
Right. He has just blossomed immediately. Like he's the superstar that everybody is looking for. And he also gives younger kids a chance to, he's from, Murray State, not a big school. Right. He's a mid-major guy, one of those things. It's cool to see. And it's cool to see he's kind of like that Dame Lillard, where Dame Lillard blossomed and CJ blossomed from a mid-major. So it's not rare by any means, but it's not as common. So
yeah, it's really cool to see. And I really hadn't heard of Ja Morant until he played against Marquette in the NCAA tournament in his last year at Murray State, and he absolutely just took it to Marquette in that game. And since then, it's been a runaway train.
Yeah, right. That play that when he dunked on Joey Hauser, that was abuse.
Yeah, it was. And NCAA iconic, absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's get into the teams at the bottom of the standings right now. Okay. On the Eastern side, Knicks, Bulls, Hornets, Pistons, and Magic. And then on the Western side, the Mavs, Lakers, Rockets, Thunder, and Spurs. I really love watching the Thunder. SGA is incredible.
Yes. Yeah. No, SGA is on another level right now. I was gonna talk about him later. He has been, 31 points per game right now. Just unbelievable. And, it obviously stinks to not have Chet, but if they had Chet, they would be looking like they'd be in that bubble conversation. And maybe they don't want to be in that bubble conversation right now, but that's just because they have, 15 draft picks in 4 years, something stupid like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
From an asset perspective, they have to be at the top of the list going forward with all of those first round and second round draft picks.
When they were in their heyday with Durant and Westbrook, that was my go-to team when the Bucks were so bad.
Sure.
And I love Durant first, of course, but then it's crazy how Sam Presti was just a moving piece. He just if he's not, after Durant left, it Melo and then PG, and they were just get out, and then all of a sudden they got offered SGA for Paul George, and they were like, no problem.
Give us 7 draft picks on top of it, and we'll be in.
Right. And the Clippers are, if those guys can't stay healthy, the Clippers are going to be hurting for the next couple of years. So, but
So who, if you could pick a team from either side that's in that bottom portion of the standings, who do you think could make a run and potentially find themselves in the playoffs or in the play-in?
I said the Bulls, and because DeMar and Levine are obviously a nice duo to have.
Yeah.
Levine has been inconsistent with his knee injuries. I don't know. It's just kind of I don't know. They haven't been specific on what he's dealt with, but they got to figure it out defensively first if they want to get into that category. Yeah. I think they're going to be poised to make some moves at the deadline, probably.
Yeah.
I'm looking at their roster. Caruso hasn't played very well, and that's been that was one of their big money guys last year that they brought in, and Lonzo Ball I think really hurts too. Ayo has had to shift into that point guard role, and I don't think he's a point guard. I think he likes to put the ball in the hole.
Yeah.
So they don't really have that true point guard right now, I think, and that's what they're missing.
Yeah, I'm with you. And when they've got Ball and Caruso out there, that backcourt is really, really solid defensively, and it changes that squad big time. And so having him out, those two guys out with Levine not being on 100%, the team just isn't what it should be.
Yeah, no. And I mean, DeRozan's obviously going to go out there and give you 25, 26 a night, but that's not going to be good enough to win basketball games. And Vucevic has not played. I mean, he's still averaging 16 and 11, but his shooting percentage right now is 34, and that's got to be low for his career. That's got to be a low from 3, especially.
Mm-hmm.
And he hasn't gotten to the rim nearly as much because I don't think he likes to clog up the lane for them. So they're a team I think that if they can get right by the break, I think they get going. Maybe the Hornets too, maybe the Knicks. Pistons, Magic are dead probably.
Yeah. Those are two teams that they're building. They're not trying to win games.
They're fun to watch. Basketball teams, they're fun to gamble on because they compete and they cover the spreads. But no Cade Cunningham for the rest of the season for the Pistons. That he had like a shin fracture or something.
Really? Okay, so they're shutting him down, huh?
Yeah, they shut him down for the rest of the year. So that's obviously, they're going for Victor at that
Yeah,
point. They're tanking for Wemby.
yeah,
So
yeah. Have you had a chance to catch any Magic games? Have you watched the team
uh,
at all?
I have. I like with Paulo and Bol has come out of nowhere. Like Bol has
Yeah.
been really good. I have League Pass, so
Okay.
I tend to like when I'm literally like locked. Basketball season has now kind of consumed my time, but
Sure.
they're like in every game. They just don't have that definitive guy to close out a game.
Yeah.
And so, and the Eastern Conference is so juiced right now.
It's
I feel
tough. Yeah.
like every team's got a guy or two that can just take over every night, and they don't have any of those guys right now. So
Yeah.
maybe what they'd be poised to do is get to the point of trading, a couple of those rotational
Yeah.
pieces for a guy or have some money. I mean, they're getting
Right.
statistics from Bancaro and well, Suggs, it seems like either one of those two guards is always out. Cole Anthony and
Sure.
Suggs, they're never
Yeah.
both healthy.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, you got a lot of young guys on the team, and I think guys that are young, they struggle with the 82 game season off the bat. So it takes a little time to get used to playing so many games, to get used to the NBA travel. It takes a lot of time. There's a learning curve with it for sure. But the way it looks is that Bankero was easily the best choice at number one. He's been so good for them.
right, and I think the Thunder aren't going to regret the Chet pick either.
Oh no.
He's just got to be a little smarter. That's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Not play so much pickup ball, which I love that they love the games,
Well,
but
that's just it. Yeah. And he's got to beef up too. He's just so thin. And
yes,
he's probably going to end up looking a lot like Durant in that
yeah,
you can tell that he's gotten stronger throughout his career, but he's just going to be thin. It's
yeah.
just how it's going to be.
I had the chance to watch him when he was like 16 years old, and it was just
Oh,
like a
well,
freak. Yeah, I used to work NY2LA and
for sure.
in Milwaukee, and then the summer jam tournament that's always in July. They invite all the best teams from like around the country when they're not like an EYBL event or an Adidas
Sure.
event or all that stuff. And it was awesome. I got to see Suggs and Chet Holmgren play. Like
Really
they were
cool.
on the same team, and it was just it's like crazy to see a 7 foot 15-year-old kid,
Yeah.
16-year-old kid, and it's like, what the heck,
Yeah. Right. It
like,
just doesn't look right.
it doesn't look right at all. And he was so raw then, but like
Yeah.
he really kind of grew up a lot last year, I think, at Gonzaga, and
Yeah.
he took a lot of the contact from some of those guys pretty well. It's just he's got to stay, you know, I guess disciplined and
Sure.
find ways. And we've seen it with Giannis. I mean, Giannis looked like that when he was a rookie. He
Yeah.
was determined to get stronger. Obviously, I don't think Chet has the genes that Giannis, did.
No.
But
Right.
John, as long as he has a good work ethic, he'll get some body mass on there, and he'll
Absolutely.
still be able to do the things that he does. So
And he's a really smart basketball player for how young he is. He knows the game really well, and you can tell if you go back and watch some of those Gonzaga games, even in the NCAA tournament, he's really solid offensively
his,
and defensively too.
yeah, his anticipation on defense when it comes to shot blocking is next level, like compared
Yeah,
to most guys.
yeah,
I mean, especially at 18 years old, like he was swatting left and right.
yeah.
He's averaging like 5 blocks a game last year. I don't quote me on that, but
It
it,
sounds reasonable. Yeah,
and he was getting there at least for sure 3.5 a game, and that's nuts.
sure. So keep going here in the Western Conference. Who out of those bottom teams again? Mavs, Lakers, Thunder, Rockets, Spurs. Any of those you could see making a chance or making a
The
push to the playoffs?
I wrote down two for sure, and that's the Mavs and the Lakers. Lakers
Yeah,
are starting to turn the corner. It looks like.
agreed.
Um, I think AD is my buddy Colin just mentioned in our chat earlier today. Like AD looks like he's realized that he can be a top 5 player again,
Yeah,
and that's massive for LeBron James. LeBron staying healthy is what's gonna end up driving them to where they
right.
need to be. They're going to be a championship contender or not.
Yeah,
But Anthony Davis finding himself, he just finished with 53 points tonight against or
amazing.
55 points. Sorry,
Yeah,
against
yeah,
the Wizards, and it's like, okay, that's the AD we know.
yeah.
That's the and on Friday night he outdueled Giannis
Absolutely.
slightly, you know.
Yeah,
And so it's when LeBron and AD are on and healthy, it doesn't really matter who's on the court with them.
agreed. Absolutely.
Russ has looked like he's found his role with
Absolutely.
Darvin Ham's offense and
Yeah.
defense. He had 15 assists tonight, so he's starting to get to the point where he's looking like the Russ that we knew, and
Yeah.
he's just got to find that role. He can't force shots. He can't do his thing. He's just got to play defense like he did in OKC and get out on the break and get his points that way. And obviously we know they have Pat Bev. Nobody likes Pat Bev, but
he's still solid defensively, and Russ is still a sick athlete. So I mean, they have the guys. It's just a matter of putting them together.
And they're going to put it together. I mean, they always do. LeBron ends up being the coach anyways, and trades half the players when he wants it. So the guys, I mean, they found guys that like the Reeves kid from Oklahoma. Like he didn't look like an NBA player, but he can certainly shoot it, and he's playing defense at an okay level, and they seem to love him. So like they rally around him. Obviously, Pat Bev got suspended for a couple games for shoving 8 and over, which I mean, I'm all for it. If you're going to defend you're there to defend your guys, and if you're going to talk crap to a guy that, yes, no doubt, nobody really knows who he is, but he can shoot it like that. You got to have him on the team. And like everybody, like early on, they had that Matt Ryan guy from Boston College. By no means should he be on an NBA roster, but he can shoot it at a high clip. And in the NBA nowadays, if you can't shoot it, if you're not a dominant player, you are not going to make it. And so guys that can shoot it, there's time for you in the league. And that's what I've been telling. That's what I tell my kids now. Like, it's not all about 3-pointers, but like at the end of the day, if you want to make college basketball and stuff, you got to have ways to be able to provide value, whether it's defense or shooting. And
exactly.
And so those, and then to go with the Mavs, I guess, their defenses, we have it in the list. Their defense is top 5. They're just got to figure out who's the next guy, and Luka's doing, Luka things, and
it's amazing.
Not getting help right now. So hopefully he can get some help.
The Mavs, I'm with you 100% on the Lakers. I love them going forward because, like you said, if they're healthy and AD is who he was, they've got everything they need to make a good push. But with the Mavs, it's all Luka. Luka is what drives that team. The only thing I worry about with them is the usage set Luka goes to during games. They use him literally. He is their offense. I mean, it's high pick and roll with Luka over and over and over again, and he will burn you. But that gets tiring. It gets exhausting. And we saw it, a couple of years ago with James Harden when he was with the Rockets. It was the same kind of thing. It was high pick and roll, and eventually they just burnt out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. With the Rockets, Harden, I mean, my gosh, he scored at such an insane role, usage rate. And he also had high assists because his shooters always, his shooters were hit and miss, but when they were on, they were on. So
absolutely.
Hopefully they can figure it out. Tim Hardaway is still trying to find himself, I think, from that injury he had last year. And Dinwiddie's not really a number 2. So at some point they're going to probably have to either make a trade or something. And Christian Wood was a nice acquisition, but we know Christian Wood as a former Bucks. You never know if he's actually injured or not, or if he's just not healthy. And so
eventually with guys, if you're playing on 6 teams in 6 years, it's you there's something up with you, and maybe you're a good player, but Woods now is just a guy that's been moving around from team to team, and he doesn't seem to be able to find a spot anywhere. So I mean, I like him with Luka, but it just doesn't seem like he's going to be the guy to put them over the edge. So I think they're a trade away yet before the season's over.
Right. Yeah. The deadline they'll act. Mark Cuban's a very active guy, and he'll make a move. He'll make a splash. So
yeah, absolutely. All right, so like you brought up, let's talk about some teams that are top 5 in defense and offensive rating. Top 5 offensive teams: Celtics, Kings, Jazz, Warriors, and Pelicans. Top 5 defensive teams: Cavs, Sixers, Clippers, Bucks, and Mavericks. Any of those surprising to you when I read them off?
Offensively, I would say, I guess you can go with the Kings and the Jazz, but I think they've made enough acquisitions. And then I brought up, obviously both teams are very different than what they were a year ago and 2 years ago. But new coaches always help. And Mike Brown, being an experienced NBA head coach,
absolutely,
coming in from the Warriors. Obviously the Warriors are always they're the Warriors. They're never going to be
Yeah.
bad offensively.
Yeah.
So when they had their little spell in the beginning, I was not shocked. But acquiring Mike Brown for the Kings was probably their best head coaching hire in a very long time. So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and I think he's turned down plenty of head coaching jobs to stay with the Warriors for the
Right.
last 6-ish years.
Right.
I think he realized he had to step back and was he ready for one? Absolutely. But he learned so much from Kerr and he learned so much from that system and Curry and all those guys. That's a
Absolutely.
great organization. Like
Of course.
being able to develop and learn that offense and now try to, essentially assemble it with their guys. It's a
Yeah.
little different, of course. Sabonis has been, getting Sabonis in that Halliburton trade. It was a trade off. We didn't really know how it was going to be, but he's definitely earned the respect from that trade. Like
Without
the
question.
Pacers didn't just win that trade by any means, but they look like they got the better younger piece, of course. But
Right.
that's what they were trying to do, was offload a contract and get a younger piece.
Yeah.
So with the Kings, I think Fox has been a man possessed.
Yes.
He's averaging like less points than he normally does, but he's just distributing so well, and he's kind of turning into a point guard a little bit.
He's a much more efficient player now, I think. And getting Sabonis, I think, is a big part of that.
Right. And then it's Kevin Huerter too. Kevin Huerter has turned into like a Klay Thompson almost. Yeah. Hopefully he keeps it up. He was at 50% from three like a week ago, and now I just checked like about an hour ago. It's about 45, and that's still in the high. That's still the best shooter in the league, and they're fantastic. Young. They're young, fun to watch. They don't play a lot of defense right now, but they're one of those league pass warrior teams where you're just like, I need that guy. I need to watch these guys because they're DFS players, they're gambling players, and you love to watch them because they're going to put up points. So
yeah, they're an exciting watch, that's for sure. And a lot of young guys, so you'd like to think that they continue to improve.
Right. They don't have like a true center either, and it allows them to play that 5-out ball or that cut and screen offense that the Warriors run, and So then I would say the Jazz. I'm shocked offensively, but when you have a very experienced point guard and a very experienced backcourt, it allows you to kind of figure it out. But they have a new head coach too. He's the youngest head coach in NBA history, Will Hardy. He was an assistant for Boston last year during their final. So he's definitely got really good skill set, and he was part of the Spurs for quite some time too, from like 2015 to last year roughly. So definitely has a good grasp on a good system, and they've unleashed Lauri Markkanen. He's been a man that's been a problem for a lot of teams to handle. He's shot it really well, and he's just turned into a grown man, which we didn't see in Cleveland or in Chicago. So, so it's been interesting to see. And then guys they're staying healthy too. Like Colin Sexton's usually always hurt. He's staying healthy. Jordan Clarkson's playing really well right now. Which I was hoping the Bucks would have snagged him up this summer like they had the chance to, but that's totally fine. Hopefully we'll get a chance at him.
Great microwave guy. He gets out there and he can heat up really quickly.
There's nights where he'll go for 30 without even effortless, nights where he'll be awful, but that's the NBA. I mean, so it's a make and miss league. So the Pelicans, obviously talk about the Pelicans. It's nice to have Zion back, I think.
Absolutely.
It makes everything easier for Ingram and makes everything easier for Valanciunas. I think they're still struggling to find the mixture between Zion and Valanciunas. But it'll come. I mean, Valanciunas' stats have obviously taken a dip, but he's up there in age now, so I think they're fine with that. But I love watching the Pelicans. They're also that league bass team where it's like, God, I need to turn on and watch them.
Yeah, I love the Pelicans too. If you get a chance to watch Zion Williamson play basketball, it's appointment viewing. The guy, it doesn't look like it should work because he's so big, but he's so athletic and so powerful that he does whatever he wants. It doesn't matter who's out there guarding him.
He's made in the lab. He's not a human being. Let's just say that. I love it. Again, with the Warriors, we knew there were. My one buddy is a Warriors fan, and like his family's from that area, and we always joke with them like, oh, it's not their year now that they've trolled, but it's like it's Steph Curry, it's Klay Thompson.
Oh
They'll
gosh.
always they're shooters. They're gonna always figure it out.
Yeah.
And Curry's playing at a high level right now, and Klay will figure it out. Shooters never really lose their touch. So they'll figure it out. I think they just got to get a little deeper in the big department, and
Agreed.
Draymond has taken a fallen back a little bit, but it is what it is. So they'll
He's-
figure it out.
Steph Curry is still absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
He's an amazing, but he's like a magician on the basketball court. And if you watch him, it'll make sense the way I say that. He looks like a magician because his movement, his lateral quickness, and the way he gets that shot off so quickly. It's not real. Again, it's not real. It doesn't make any sense, but he's so damn efficient.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's nuts when it comes to being able to shoot. And then his dribbling skill is by no means is it fancy, but it's quick and it gets you,
Yeah.
we don't see nearly as many dribbling highlights of him, but it's that range. I mean, he walks in the gym, he's in range.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter where he is, so.
Yeah, I'm with you. Moving over to the defensive side of the court, Cavs, Sixers, Clippers, Bucks, and Mavs. I think Evan Mobley might be Kevin Garnett reincarnated.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. They were talking about it on something that I saw that as well, and I agree. He is just a freak. He's go athlete, like just and he's so skilled too, like so smart, so savvy, and offensively he looks like the big ticket, My buddy just moved. One of my other buddies just moved to Cleveland, and he went to their home opener, and he said the crowd is just buzzing there.
Oh yeah,
and having Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland and Jared Allen, like the reason why they're in the top 5 is they start 7 foot.
Yeah,
and I think whoever plays their 3 is like 6'10", and it's like, how do you score on that all the time?
Yeah.
And Mitchell's never been a bad defender. Like, I mean, he's not the best on ball, but he's pretty good, like help D and and he could definitely clamp up. Like he was in the Jazz system with Quinn Snyder, and they were a good defensive team for years there. So and Darius, I don't think Darius is a bad defender by any means, but he hasn't been healthy either. So they're still. I think it's just because they're forcing a lot of misses in the rim area, and then they're finding ways to just cause havoc with tips and just getting passes tipped up and stuff.
Yeah. When you have Mobley and Jared Allen out there, you can be serviceable on the perimeter because you can, with the guys behind you that are going to clean stuff up, you can be a little bit more aggressive. And I think that gives you a little bit more leeway. But the Cavs are a lot of fun to watch. Getting Mitchell, it seems like a guy that was available just about anybody in the league. Because they did make that trade with the Jazz to get him in there. But the Cavs getting Mitchell has taken them to another level, and I'm really excited about them being in the Bucks division because we will get to see that matchup a lot more coming here very soon.
Yes, I agree. And he's averaging currently 28 points per game, so it's like he's just on he's on a mission. So
yeah, really excited. Anybody else defensively that you like?
The Sixers, it kind of shocked me that the Sixers are up there. I guess. I guess maybe they're just kind of locked in a little bit without Ben. And no Harden right now. That probably helps. Harden necessarily isn't the most locked in defensively, but he has not seemed himself since that hamstring injury against the Bucks 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It seems like he's kind of on the downward spiral a little bit. Health wise, he just got to get in shape and get that hammy right. I mean, I've seen it with some of my favorite players, like Julio Jones. Like the hamstrings are just when they go, they go.
Yeah.
They don't always come back. And so, what are they defensively?
So let's move to the Celtics. The Celtics, the only team in the top 5 for both. What do you like about the Celtics? Have you caught them at all?
I haven't watched as much NBA as I normally do, but it's just because with my schedule, it's crazy. But the Celtics were the number 1 defensive team last year. And the crazy part to me is I'm shocked they're in the top 5 right now because they're giving up like 113 points a game, but they're scoring 121 points a game. So that's
Yeah.
also they're 19-5
Right.
or whatever they are. I'm not sure exactly, but from what I read an article just previously before, and their new head coach, well, current interim, whatever it is, the
Yeah.
whole situation, which is just a messed up situation. But
No doubt.
they're playing like an up tempo style, so they're gambling a little bit more. They're going for steals. They're going for which they always do. Of course, you got
Yeah.
Marcus Smart, you got Jaylen Brown, you got some of the best on ball defenders in the NBA. And as much as I hate to say it, I absolutely despise Marcus Smart, but he's the guy that you want on your basketball team.
Oh,
He
absolutely.
he hits the 3 ball when you need him to. He guards the best player so that your 2 best players don't need to guard the best player. And for instance, he's just a matchup nightmare to have. And he's kind of figured out his offensive game the last 2 seasons or so, and now he doesn't have to play point guard. That's why
Right.
the Celtics are so good offensively. Is
Yes.
Brogdon as
Yeah.
much as I hate to say it, Brogdon was a buck that I never wanted to give up. We probably should always gave up Bledsoe, but he also never wanted to take that back seat.
Right.
And I think he kind of learned in Indiana that hey, I'm not the guy that I thought I was in Milwaukee,
Right.
and this now he's with 2 superstars, and he's not getting the ball like he was wanting in Milwaukee.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so I think that gives them their true point guard that they haven't had.
Right.
And so Marcus Smart off the ball, that allows him to catch and shoot. It allows him to just be him and be annoying, be a pest.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, their defense has always led to offense, but for some odd reason this year it's not as good. But it's because they don't have Robert Williams.
Right now.
Yeah. He had that meniscus surgery right before the season.
Yeah.
And they call him the Time Lord for a reason. He's an eraser down there. He blocks shots. He contests shots.
Yeah.
He's a player that not by no means is he fantastic, but he knows his role and he plays well. And he's a freak down there. He's a monster.
Yeah.
Joe Mazzulla, their current head coach that is filling in for Ime, is they've struggled defensively typically, but they're still causing havoc and causing a lot of missed shots. But the Celtics offensively, they're pushing the ball more from what I read in the article. They're going with it. Like I said, trading for Brogdon has helped them move the ball a little bit in transition and go get easy baskets. Because down the stretch of the playoffs, like it'll change. Yep. But Tatum and Brown can't be taking mid-range contested 2s all the time. Like that's why they ended up. If they would have never got past the Bucks there, they obviously never go to the finals.
Right.
But I think Bucks were the Middleton injury away from winning back to back.
With all question.
But it allowed them. It allows guys like Grant Williams and other dudes on the floor to they're leading the league in scoring, 3-pointers made, 3-point percentage, and offensive efficiency. And so they're doing everything right now. They're seeing the ball go through the hole. Tatum and Brown are, those are obviously 2 of the toughest shot makers in the league.
Absolutely.
And when they have it going on, they have it going on. Obviously, when they have it going on, it's good, but when it's off, it's bad. But that's the NBA again. Like I said before. Yeah. But they're just I hate them. I don't know.
I'm with you.
One of those things. I just don't want them, but they're the Celtics. They're going to be there. So
and they're run through Jason Tatum. It seems like he's taken that next step. He's really come around, and it doesn't look like you watch him now. It doesn't look like there's much of a hole to his game.
Right. Yeah. No, not offensively. There's not a hole to his game. Defensively, he has been a better on-ball defender. I think he's averaging 1.7 blocks per game. So,
which is incredible.
For a wing player. Yeah. And he didn't play like any defense 2 years ago. So.
Right. Yeah, he's really come around as a good player. So quick question: the Celtics 16th, so really average defensively, but they're so good offensively that they've been tough to stop.
I think they've really took a dip the last 2 weeks or so. But
yeah, I'm with you. So a couple minutes left here. Give me your thoughts on the Bucks' first 20-some games.
20-some games. The best part about the Bucks winning a title a couple of years ago, I'm not stressed about the regular season like I used to be.
Exactly.
But Bucks defense has been much improved this season. They're giving up less open 3-pointers. They're contesting more out there. Brook Lopez has been a machine down low on defense. I mean, he's had 3 games of 5+ blocks, and it's incredible. For them being 16-5 without Middleton and Pat and
No Joe
partially Grayson
Ingles.
or
You
something.
know,
No Joe Ingles. I mean,
yeah,
we're not even close to hitting where we're supposed to be, and we're 16-6 or whatever, and
yeah,
0-1 with Middleton back, but we played a good team,
yeah,
a team that hit the right stride.
exactly.
Javon Carter looks finally. Bud Budenholzer's kind of loved Javon Carter, which I've been
Yeah,
begging for since that Nets series.
yeah,
Bobby's being Bobby. We always love Bobby. And then again, I said Lopez looks much different besides just his stats. He's
yeah,
shooting well. He's blocking shots. He just looks like he's in it. And for being 35 or whatever,
yeah,
after that back surgery, you certainly think his career would have been over, but he
yeah.
looks fantastic.
It took him
And
some
you know,
time to
like,
get back, yeah, but he's been fantastic since he's been healthy, averaging 3 blocks a game, shooting about 40% from three. You're not going to get that from many guys.
right. And, it looked like this was his last year in Milwaukee, but I think he might want to keep playing around. So
Yeah,
hopefully Giannis keeps him around and stuff. I would like to see them find a way to get another wing that is defensive minded. Kind
agreed.
of like they've been trying for Jay Crowder, and he's killed us so often that I would like to
Yeah,
see that.
agreed. I think he would be a good addition, but I think getting Middleton back, getting Joe Ingles back, I think they'll
Right.
improve defensively as well. But yeah,
Yes.
they're definitely a deep team when they're healthy, when they've got everybody. They're really good, and we're excited about what they can do. And when you have Giannis, you have a chance. It's
Yes.
basically what it comes down to.
Giannis is the most incredible person. We are so blessed. We're truly not worthy of that. So
Yeah, and the fact that he signed the big extension, he's going to be with
right.
us for the time being. Looking forward to the next 5, 6, 7 years at least. He's going to
Yeah.
be a buck, and I can't be more excited. It's
Yeah.
phenomenal.
We get his prime where it's not like the Kareem incident where he left after his one
Yeah,
title run, and we just gotta keep making him happy. Gotta keep doing the things for him,
yeah, I'm with you.
yeah, if he wants Chris, he wants Chris. If he wants somebody else, go get somebody else.
Exactly. Yeah,
Drew Holiday's also played very shooting the ball much better than he did in
yeah,
the playoffs. If Drew shoots somewhat better in that Celtics series, I think we end up sneaking that one out.
yeah.
He goes ghost. It's not as bad as Eric Bledsoe was, of course,
True. Yeah,
but it's tough defensively. If he didn't provide the things defensively, he would be.
yeah. It
He
would
would
be
have been on
tough.
the chopping block a while ago, I
Yeah,
think. But
I'm with you. But yeah, it's going to be fun. So again, Beaker, I appreciate you coming on. A lot of fun. I'm going to have you on again. We're going to get into. I want to have you on, and I want to talk some NFC North or not NFC North, NFC South football. I want to get your thoughts on the Falcons and that division going forward.
God, that division is just a trash shoot.
Yeah, but hey, again, I appreciate you coming on. Thanks again for doing this.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I love talking hoops. So
All right,
yeah, if you
man.
want to talk college and high school, I'm always there too. I'm in it with high school, and college basketball is always the best. So
Sounds good, pal. Well, again, thank you. Thank you guys for listening. I appreciate it. Everybody have a good night. We'll see you again soon.
have a great night, everyone.
See ya.